Yeah.
Listen, yeah. Why do you use milk for eating with me? Why do you use milk for eating?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Look what you were doing.
I'm just gonna wait a bit till we get
I'm thinking about what you gave them today.
some people watching.
Okay.
Here we go.
Well, we compensated for that tonight. We gave them cake and an old
Call. There we go. There's some people coming up now. Tonight I was thinking of, how's it, Andrew? Tonight I was thinking about what I'm going to speak about, and a lot of topics came into my head. But I thought to myself, let's go back, way back, to where I actually realized that I was actually a criminal far before I started using drugs. And now, how if I look back at it now, I can realize how my actions actually ended up me being actually a drug addict. Because I remember from like the age of 10 or so, I would like steal out of ShopRite. I used to stay in Wynberg, and I would steal out of ShopRite, like the toys in the toy section, and I would steal sweets and all kinds of things. That's at a very young age. And then I moved on with my life, and then as your life goes on, you start living life, and ended up where I ended up, and eventually started using drugs. And you know, you always get told, I remember vaguely, I think it was in primary school where that one guy comes to your school and speaks to you about how bad drugs is, and does his little presentation on stage and tries to prevent you from using drugs. And you know, it like goes through the one ear and out the other. You know, you're watching this man speak, and you think to yourself, no man, what's this so going on about? And you forget about that gentleman. You forget about him totally. And then you get to a situation where you actually use drugs, and you smoke your dacha for the first time, and you think to yourself, hey, what's so actually bad about this? Ignorant, you know, very, like, now I think back and I think to myself, what was that old talking about? Like, you know, drugs isn't that bad. Banner, that's not how you spell great. Yeah. Then you smoke your dacha and you realize, hey, but this is actually not that bad. It's actually lekker. Chilled. Little to know that that's actually the beginning of hell, as we call it, you know. We like to call it hell. I like to call it a learning curve. Because I never regret anything I never regret anything I've ever done. Ever. Nothing. Because it's made me the person I am today, and the person I am today, I believe, is actually alright. I believe I'm alright today, man. Obviously, we all got our character defects, as they say, but if that's gonna make me a bad person, then I don't know. Because I work on them every day, you know. Every day you work on your character defects and your steps, etc., etc., etc. But you also, as your sobriety clock ticks on, you forget these things, man, and you just start living a normal life. You start living a life that supports your family and supports the people around you. Excuse me. And you quickly forget that you got to work these steps. And then you get put into a situation where the steps actually are forced into your life, where you got to do it. And that's why I'm still grateful to be here at RAEL. And you know what? I, like everybody knows, I got the opportunity to do an apprenticeship to become a panel beater. And I did my apprenticeship and I qualified. And then I decided to start my own business with the help of Anthony Hall and the guys around me. And I know a lot of people had a bit of doubt in me. I'm pretty sure of it. Love you too, Richie. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people said, nah, this is he doesn't know what he's doing. And I look back and I think to myself, hey man, I've been supplying for my family. I've had work, been doing work very well. Taken opportunities that have come my way. And just lived a life of sobriety. I don't want to sound too I don't know what's the word to use. I don't want to sound so like I'm holier than thou, you know what I mean? That I know recovery better than anybody, because I don't. Lee I'm probably the furthest person. I just live a life. That's all I do, man. Nothing more, nothing less. I live my life and I learn from, most of the time I learn from other people's mistakes. That's actually what's helped me a lot. I looked at other people and I checked to myself, okay, if they're going to do that and it's going to get them to where they are today, then if it's a good thing, I'm gonna take their bit of advice, and if it's not a good thing, I'm not gonna do it at all. How's it, Alex? And that, surprisingly enough, has helped me a lot. Like, it really has helped me a lot, because like you see these O's, they walk around with Bibles under their arms, thinking they Daddy Moses or David, whoever they think they are. Excuse me. They thinking they whoever they are. Shortly, a few months later, you see where they are, and they're actually the furthest thing from that person that they were portraying to be. And then you think to yourself, what mask were they putting on? What to please who? And then I think to myself, okay, don't do that, Graeme, because that's not going to get you very far. That's just one example. One example of watching other people and learning from their mistakes. Yes, who's still a con? Me. I'm still a fat con. But today I use that con in a more productive way. I've learned to use my con not to rob people, not to con people, but to actually help people. Because a lot of the times, especially here at RAEL, you get a guy in here and you got he's maybe in not the best of moods, and he wants to leave. And many of times, me personally, I've had to convince people, and you convince them in a way that benefits them, man, where they actually believe it, even though it's not always true. It's not always true, but you make them believe it, just to maybe get them another month here, man. Maybe let them see that light at the end of the tunnel, because at the end of every tunnel, there's a light. I'm yet to come across a tunnel that doesn't have a light for me, man. And it's not the light of a train coming all towards my way. It's a light to freedom, man. And at that moment, I'm through that tunnel. That light is actually behind me, shining my future, man. And that's what keeps me thriving and striving. You know what I mean? It's not always all about the Kruin. Maybe for you, Garth, but not for me. Do you know why I always have Kruin? Because I don't think of it always being about the Kruin. That's what I always have, man. I always have. I'm believe that God provides for His children, man. Like I always say it in things here, if I'm having a general conversation with somebody, and I would Anthony the Great, I bow under His shadow. No, I'm just joking. I tell a lot of people.
So that's
Now I forgot what I wanted to say.
Brandon.
Anyway, let me carry on. It will come again.
Don't say because I like how you
Yeah, there's Alex in addiction recovery. There's no grey areas at all. It's either black or white, and you got to choose which one. You can't sit on a fence. Like I said the other night, I think that you don't get a half pregnant woman. You're either pregnant or you're not. And I've only been with you for 5 years, but still, man, you can't blame me. You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. Either black or white. There's no grey areas in addiction recovery. You know, I can't sit on a fence and people please some people that day and then agree with the person on this side. No ways, man. It's either yes or no. If you stand for nothing, you fall for everything. Let me say that again. If you stand for nothing, you fall for everything. So I stand for what I stand for, and there's a lot of people that don't stand with me on what I stand for, but I couldn't care, to be quite honest with you. Yes, one of my biggest character defects is I'm very arrogant. And yes, I am. A lot of people have told me that. But I think the highest point of arrogance is what other people think of me has got nothing to do with me. At all. What think of me as a person or as a soul or as a recovering addict has got nothing to do with me.
And I'm the best looking guy you ever met.
And you should have the same thought. Like what I think of you should have nothing to do with you. Not because it works for me, it's not going to work for you. Of course, it's going to work for you. I'm nothing great.
I'm the best looking guy.
Besides being known as Graeme the Great. So yeah, that's that. And so I hate the sound of my voice over a phone. Yeah, so I come into addiction, into recovery, and I struggle for a bit because I don't know this way of living. I don't know this way of living at all because I know a way of living of drugs and alcohol and whoring and gambling, etc., etc., etc. And is min maar is in, bro. But unlimited grace type. Yes, Luandre. Clutchy. I'm glad you're watching, my brother. But yeah, you come into recovery and you don't actually like this way of living and you hold reservations, etc. Because you only meant to stay here for 6 months and move on with your life. And and you know, a lot of the times we tell the guys, yeah, you know where you're thinking got you into rehab, man. But you know where my thinking got me? My thinking has got me to stay here. That's where my thinking has got me. Because what do I have out there, man? What benefit do I have out there? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I'm not stupid, you know, I can easily live a life sober. But what purpose am I gonna have, man? I feel like I'm not gonna have a purpose out there, out in wherever I'm going to be. I feel that I have more purpose here at RAEL, even if I'm sitting on a couch doing nothing. I feel that there's more purpose to my life being here, man, because you live to die. I think I said that the other night also. Cole, you need to stop worrying about your own recovery and let me worry about my recovery, okay? If Mr. Hall's gonna trip, he will trip on me, not on you. So you worry about your recovery and I'll worry about mine. God bless you though, God bless you. I say that with a lot of love. And no, never mind. Yeah, I lost my train of thought now. Yeah, so we come here and we like skopt in die kas and we don't want to do certain things. But eventually that seed plants, man. That seed plants and you start watering it. And then a little seedling comes up. And then you start realizing, hey, but I'm actually growing, man. I just need to water myself a bit more. I just need to water myself a bit. Oh yes, thank you, Alex. Thank you. You live to die. Yes, you live to die. You know, I looked at my daughter the other day. Was it yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. And I thought to myself, yes, so man. One day you also gonna die, man. And that's actually been running through my head a lot lately, man. You live to die. Because that's ultimately, we live to die. And we only got one life. So what am I gonna do with my one life, man? Hi, Diane. What am I gonna do with my one life? Am I gonna be known as a drug addict? As a recovering addict? Or as Graeme? What do I want to be known as, man? Am I gonna have people saying, good riddance, he's made a bit of, he's given us a bit more oxygen? Or am I gonna say, I actually missed that, man? And we should all have that thought. I think death is a very sensitive topic to most men, but at the end of the day, we're all gonna die. And I don't want to live a life where I regret something. Like I look at Mrs. Hall Senior often, man. And God willing, hopefully I will end up in a wheelchair also one day. I say that you guys must understand where I'm coming from here, man. I want to live a life to 80, 90, 100 years old, man. I want to live my life to the utmost, you know. I want to have full advantage, God willing. And I'm sure God will, man, because I've got a lot to serve, man. And I've got a lot to give this world. I was TikTok famous for one day, Lee J. But that's a sensitive topic. So
Unlimited.
That's an unlimited sensitive topic. So I want to make the most of my life, man. And me giving a meeting now at 5 to 9 is making the most. I made Graeme TikTok. Clutchy, you did. You did. This is me, brothers. Real recovery, brothers and sisters. Yeah, God. This is me giving back, man. This is me. You know, you guys are. Yes, it is my child. But I am going to go for DNA testing. No, I'm just joking. I love you, Lindsay. You know, I got a beautiful girlfriend, a beautiful family, a beautiful daughter. Everything is beautiful. The only thing not beautiful in my life is me.
And the workshop.
That is beautiful. And it's working. But it's only going to work if I work it. And that you can put that into any aspect in life, man. The only way you're going to get successful in life is by actually working and doing something towards something. And like I said earlier on, you know, a lot of people probably had a bit of doubt in me. But you know what? I would have also had a bit of doubt in me. But if I didn't have the support that I have today, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. This dog. Fuck. Yeah. You know, Mr. Halls helped me a lot, you know. And a lot of people, my family, people around me, Kurt, you know, also when I'm... Her name was Adam. You're right. But that's also another topic for another night, you know, that some things are better left unsaid, gentlemen and ladies, gentlemen. So let's just leave it at her name was Adam. Doesn't make me gay. Yes, the dog is tripping, big time. He's laying on my bed. Is he? Thank you for watching, my dear. Yes, I haven't heard from you in, must have been a good few years. I know you two in person. And I think we can leave it at that, Isadora. Yo, you got me thinking now, easy, young. You knew me when I was a bit yamaka, young. Yo, we're going way back now. It's like 12, 13 years. You know, in high school, there wasn't a day I didn't use drugs. I used drugs every single day on high school, man. At the Villiers Graaf High. Every single day I was on drugs. Don't ask me how I did it. I just did it. And I was head boy of my boarding school that I was in. I was extremely manipulative. Extremely. In every single way, you know. I'll make you believe I'm not using drugs, but I'm higher than one of my girlfriends. Yeah, we were crazy. It's unlimited, can that.
Give me that.
And that time you were crazy just like me, but look at us now, we are clean. Yes, we are, my dear, we are very clean. 5 years clean. Now, I wasn't in Graafsal. Graafsal was for Morpheus. I was in Eysturoy. I've actually, Lee J, I've never used Malpitta because I've seen what that has done to people, and that is why I don't use it, or I've never used it. And yeah, so I used drugs every single day on high school. And there, Izzy can tell you. She can tell you herself. If she wants to. And I don't know how I did it, but I did it, you know. And I did well on school, man. I did my schoolwork, and I used to, hey, I used and abused people and got people also hooked on drugs, and I'm not proud of it, you know. I'm not proud of what I've done in life, but I hope those people can forgive me. Because it's not liquor to get somebody hooked on drugs, especially hardcore drugs. You know, I didn't. Izzy mustn't she? No, she mustn't, Lee J. Yeah. So I'm reading. Sorry, I'm reading these comments, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, I finished high school and I was still hooked on drugs. But as you know, things just escalate and escalate. You know, and I used to tell God, I used to do things, man. And I would tell God, only this one time, man. I'm not going to do it anymore after this. The next day you do the same thing. And as your life goes on, you end up being naughtier and naughtier and naughtier. And end up mixing with the wrong crowd. And I hear now they're all dead. Most of them have died or got TB, etc., etc., etc. And you know, one thing that always sticks in my head is like you would walk past places, man, and you would see burgies sleeping on the side of the road and stuff, and you'd like kick their cardboard and graffiti on their cardboard that they're laying on and spray them with spray and all kinds of things. And little to know, a few years later, you're going to be sleeping in that exact same area, that exact same spot you did that stuff to. You'll find yourself there. So what I'm trying to say is what you do to others is bound to come back and bite you in the arse, man, in some other way. It comes back and it bites you in the arse. And I realized then already, hey, Graeme, you can't hurt other people anymore, man. You can't carry on like this, man, because it's putting your life in jeopardy. But now 5 years later, I look back and I think to myself, yes, so I've actually had a good life, man. I've just put myself in cuck situations. Me, myself, nobody else. And now, I'm blessed, yo. I can't. There's no words to describe. Like, I don't have any cravings or any nonsense like that. I don't want to use drugs because I know where it's gonna get me. I know exactly where it's gonna get me. Thank you, Kurt. I appreciate it. I appreciate the confidence you have in me. I really do.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm not gonna speak much on. All that I can say is, ladies and gentlemen, there's hope in everybody, man. We just need to open that door, and you first need to find the key to open the door. And once you find that key, you can open your door and you'll find your hope. And I hope I can give Yes, of course you can share your story easy. I think you got a very powerful story to share. You can just inbox me. And yeah, I'm just gonna let my stall speak for a bit. Because no, I actually have a very bad headache at the moment, and I wasn't in the mood to speak tonight, but you know what, I'm glad I did, because maybe somewhere, somehow, somebody who saw me or knew my past, can see me today and actually realize, hey, but that guy did come right, man. Somebody who probably had no hope in me can look at this live feed and realize, hey, but that guy did come right. And that's my purpose, man. That's my purpose to share tonight. Because I know there's a lot of people out there who don't have any hope in themselves, man. And they think to themselves, am I going to come right? Yes, of course you're going to come right, man. It's just that you don't want to, man. You don't want to come right. That is your problem. You prefer a life scuttling, sitting on your ass, doing drugs, not worrying about anybody. You prefer that life. Not to blame you, it's just that's what you used to. You've put yourself in that situation, now you can't get out of it. You just can't get out of it, but there is a way out of it, man. You just got to stop using drugs. It's as simple as that. But I'll share again shortly. This share wasn't as good as my previous one. But yeah, my next one, I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, it will be much better. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I think, Saturday night is more of our light-hearted, which you can never really take recovery light-hearted, but you can have fun. And, excuse me, having fun. And that's what Graeme was doing tonight, because we were sitting here and pulling the piss out of him because we're sober. And we can joke about things. And we can have fun. And we can show you that people can have fun. And I'm, for one, very proud of Graeme. I know his parents are proud of him. His friends, how's it, Alex? His friends are very proud of him. The friends that wanted him to better his life. I just want to tell you a little story. I'm not going to talk long. Yesterday I went to Ceres, to Matroosburg, and now there were roadblocks all over, so we went the back way around. And hi, Leandro. And I'm 56 years old, you wouldn't say it, but I'm 56 years old, and it was the first time in my entire life, and I live in Worcester, that I'd been in snow. And I thought to myself, wow, when I was drinking or drugging, who would have been interested? And probably that was one of the reasons. 25 years of abusing, and then you're not interested in snow or interested in doing things that excite people and once in a lifetime or twice in a lifetime. And it was absolutely wonderful. Absolutely. There was no cell phone signal. And, we thrown a bit of snow at each other. And I took Carl with me because he's also never seen the snow because he hasn't seen much. And he went with, and Rihanna was with, and the child was with him. And we had good fun. We really had exceptional fun in the snow. And I even drove, it was, I don't know if you've ever seen those American shows where you drive on the cliff and all that. And I don't normally drive, And I drove it, and geez, it was amazing. It was like different level kind of shit. And we enjoyed ourselves. We had fun. And then, coming back, I've always had this in me. I won't leave the farm unless I know it's under total control and it's moving. You come back, and Kurt Schuler and the team have got everything under control. That's why pick your leadership, man. Picking a leader, picking your friends. But it's not the same as picking your nose. Really, you have leadership people that you can trust with full. Can I have a cigarette here, please? I know there's a lot of cigarettes here. You pick your leadership, and when you pick your leadership, you can really start thinking to yourself, wow, I can come home and the leadership, especially under Kurt, and the house is under control. Now, there was a guy a couple of years ago who was putting needles in his arm. Graeme doing heroin. Izzy, I'd love to hear your story. You must please just contact me and we can give you a day to share. And, okay, the dogs are tripping. There's war. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 dogs in here, excluding Graeme and Kurt and Carl. But that's all right. And that is what is important. A lot of people leave their home. Why I'm making this comparison, they leave their home when their home is not in order. And then they go out, they do whatever they like, and then they come back and there's chaos. And that's something that one must look at in the whole dimension of what are we actually doing? What is our life? I know that to bless people is one of my. People won't give me things because they say to me, Anthony, I'm going to give you this and you're going to give it away. That's cool. Then it just passes on to the next person. And I've always been like that, and I hope I always will be like that, because I know I'll always be like that. Even when you get go away and help the fellow man. It's coming up. I'm going to share this with you, because I got only as sick as your secrets. My divorce comes through in 2 weeks' time. And I just want to, Karen played a big part in RAEL here at the farm. She did tremendous work, while she was here. I will always have that degree of love for her. I will always respect her. I will always be kind to her, and she can phone me at any time of the day or night, and I will help her in any way. Whenever she needs something, I will help her. But we must realize in life, sometimes we move on. And I was not in an affair with the doctor before my marriage was over. And let's just be honest, in life. And I believe in the honesty part of recovery. And give credit where it's due. She played a big part in lifting this farm and building this farm and getting it to where it is. But sometimes we then move on. We come in for a season and we move on. And maybe, you can look back and say, well, we spent 24 hours in each other's company all the time. So there was a sacrifice that had to be made. And I will always, always, always give her the credit that she deserves for helping to build this farm. Never run her down. Not in that business. Can't hold resentments. What has to be done, has to be done. I just hope that Rihanna and I will take it ourselves to another level and enjoy each other and enjoy the time that we have ahead. As much as I enjoyed the time that I had with Karen. But we had to move on. And she's a lovely person. She's a wonderful human being. She can do anything that she puts her mind to it, whether it's mechanical or whether it's, you name it, this woman can do it. And I wish her the best. I wish Karen the best and hope to be a friend until the end. Okay, so I just got that off my chest. Because when you slightly in the public eye. Everyone wants to know your business. So now you've heard it for those who wanted to hear it. Okay, I'm smoking Chesterfield Blue. It doesn't taste like it did taste a couple of years ago. Okay, I'm reading what Issy Jasmine here. I didn't know Issy Jasmine existed, but now I do. We need to recover and be clean to find what love is about again. Family is so important. That's why it's so important to find what love is. Okay? That's it. That's it. Very true words, that Issy. That's very true. So we mainly use the Saturday night, excuse me, as a night of fun, night of jokes. Graeme gave a nice joking little share there. But the underlying message is very important. The underlying message is serious. We're here to fight for our lives. We're here to help by God's grace to save other people's lives. And we're not here to take shit. If you want to play games at my rehab, then you go to the Newlands rugby ground and you get a rugby ball and you go play games with yourself. But you're not going to play it here. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of enjoyment, and a lot of love. But our very lives depend on this. Our very lives depend on this. You know, we and the leadership are proud that we sponsor a lot of people here. Over 150,000 Rand a month I sponsor people to come here. I don't know them. They're not my blood. We've only got one thing in common, we're addicts. Hopefully that one day when they recover, they will go and carry the message to the still suffering alcoholic and addict. That's what it's all about. That's why you sponsor people. You don't get any other... Sorry, I'm just reading the message. Thanks, Marlene. Yeah, and Alex, you're right. You know, we can't forget where we come from. All of us on this page. Hi, Lee J, my secretary. Stop shouting at me. Please, Lee J, you're shouting at me too much these days. Craig, I want you on here as well. Because we can have fun, Craig, man. We can have a Saturday night. We're serious 6 days a week. We can have a Saturday night light-hearted with the underlying message of we mustn't get too ahead of ourselves. Fun is fun. Fun is fun, but fun is actually having it in the way that we don't think, okay, this fun allows me to get so hyped up that let me go and get something to make me more hyped up. Because that's not fun, man. That's playing Russian roulette with our lives, man. And we've played enough. Sorry, you're my PA, Lydia, I forgot. I forget these things. I used a lot of alcohol. So we play Russian roulette with our lives. You know, my mom next door is... Angus, any chance of getting some Coke there, bro? Not the ones we used to put up our nose. The ones we drink now. You know, I used to worry about my mom in that old age home. And I've seen it here. My mom can stay awake for a day and a bit, and she's on a lot of medication. And then I see Angus and the nurse we got here looking after my mom. We obviously have to have a female nurse here to change my mom. But Angus probably does 90% of the rest of the work. The love and care that this addict is showing to my mother. Not because I'm Anthony Hall. You can't fake that. It is just so beautiful. And hopefully he'll finish his course soon, and then he'll be off to England and go visit Lee J. He'll be off to England and he'll make the kroon, because it's all about the kroon, Garth. Lee J, all about the kroon. And how people want to get their lives right. Get their lives right in the way of, if I'm going to be boring and have no laughter and have no fun, I may as well be drunk. So I have to have fun. I have to enjoy myself. You know, let me tell you a story now. Graeme the Great, who just spoke here. I said to Graeme the Great and Richard, who's not online because he's obviously busy with other things. He's forgetting where he comes from. Yeah, but he should still be on. Yeah, Craig, it's about the kroon, bro. That's why the NCs are so expensive. I took Graeme the Great and Richard to Israel. And the doctor came with. And, okay, first of all, we're in the middle of Tel Aviv. And Richie and Joni was with as well, Richie's girlfriend. And they decided to have a domestic in the middle of Tel Aviv. Okay, we thought, okay, that's not too bad. You know, Tel Aviv is quite a liberal part of Israel. Then we go to Jerusalem, and Joni and Richie decide to have another domestic in the old city of Jerusalem, the holiest place in the world. So we thought, okay, that must be a blessing. So then we go to Haifa, right up north of Israel. Yeah, north-south, I can't remember. And there they have another one. But it's like quick ones, you know, like 3-minute outbursts. Mainly Richie screaming and shouting that he's walking too much and he's tired and all that. Graeme the Great, on the other hand, you have to pay on certain buses in Israel, and I'm blessed to have been there 3 times, and I hope to go there many more times. I love Israel. So Graeme the Great, every bus we get onto, he slips behind us in the holy city, in the holy country, and he refuses to pay. And he got away. He must have saved himself at least 1,000 rand. 1,000 shekels, which is like 4,000 rand. So he brought his criminal gedachtes all the way to Israel. And then the next night, him and Richard were offered a joint or something by a guy who was staying near the place near us. So it just showed what he did. He used his old criminal background, but he didn't pick up a drug because he wanted to save more money because he was hoping to get a hooker in Israel. I'm joking. But what I'm trying to say, he was hoping, he was keeping the money so he could enjoy himself more and buy more gifts and buy more presents. And I thought that was quite cool. You know, there was a rabbi, and the rabbi, money dropped out the rabbi's pocket in Israel. And Graeme was there like a shot, picked the money up. And then Rihanna had to tell him, no, Graeme, give it back to the rabbi. So Graeme reluctantly went back and gave it to the rabbi, and the rabbi blessed him, etc., etc.
Tell him about the scratch card.
Then he goes and he says, Mr. Hall, I want to go gamble. Now, there's no casinos there, so he goes and plays scratch cards. How does he come back? 200 shekels, 300 shekels. He won so much money. So Graeme is obviously a very blessed man. And the reason he's so blessed is because he's a giver. The reason that Kurt is blessed is because he's a giver. The reason Angus and Craig are blessed because they're givers. Alexander, Alex like we call him, was a giver. Lee, a giver. You have to give in life, man. Because if you're not giving in life, you're not serving any purpose to anyone or anything. Someone just said here from Israel, because we're having some fun, we're getting to know each other better, man. That we're not boring we're not boring people, man. We people who, here in this house, we have a shitload of fun. That once one person said to me, Anthony, why don't you open up a reality show in this house and just be exactly the way you people are? I tell you, people never tune out. Because we rip each other, we rag each other, we pull each other apart. But we do it with love. We never look down on a person. You don't walk around here as King Farouk, except Graeme the Great. You know, and then I went in October. Well, I think it was October. I was lucky enough to get tickets from Miles, and I went to the World Cup alone. And there at the World Cup, it was amazing because I was traveling alone, I think for the first time ever, to another country. And I had a ball. I was there for 2 weeks and had an absolute ball. I could have drank myself silly. I could have drugged myself silly. I could have whored myself silly. But I was not interested. Because I'd lost the desire. And when I flew back, it was so beautiful knowing that I could come back with my dignity intact. We take so long when we come into recovery to build up our recovery, our integrity. And we have to look after our integrity. You know, thanks, Andrew. It was some beautiful memories. You know, and I've been very lucky, and don't think this is arrogant or bragging and that. I've shared at a meeting in Israel. I've shared at a meeting in Bali. I've shared at a meeting in Australia, in Ohio, in New York. This is all because of sobriety. The only other time I went over the water was to Robben Island, or in a swimming pool from side to side, and I don't swim that well. So things will happen beyond your wildest dreams. You know, I was sitting in Japan, and there were 6 guys who play for England, and they were getting pissed, and then I brought them around, and they said, "No, Anthony, you don't drink, my brother." In their accent, "We'll buy the drink." I said, "No, my brother, I'm enjoying myself here. Why can't I buy you a drink? I'm not going to buy myself a drink. I'm going to drink Coke, and you can drink your thing." And then they gave me this beautiful England rugby jersey. And the next day I saw a guy, and I was sitting in a restaurant because I wouldn't eat the Japanese food, so it was like, I looked for something that looked undoggish, but they don't eat dog, you know what I mean? And this guy looked so sad, and he started speaking that he lost his mother and father from addiction. He must have been 30 years old, because he saw my RAEL shirt, and he looked broken, man. And I gave him the English jersey, just to cheer up, brother. That's what it is, huh? Because the jersey's not going to make me, huh? I never earned that jersey, so I'm free to give it away. And that's what it's about in life. Huh? We give our love to everyone. We give our advice. Whether they take it or not is their problem. We give our opinion. Whether they take it or not, it is their problem. But the great love for one addict for another, who is serious about recovery, who is serious. See, Camel Lights. Yo, Alex, this tastes like Camel Lights, bro. On a different level, these oaks tonight. Thanks, Kurt, for getting the Camel Lights.
Like Alex likes Winston Red.
Oh, we got a packet of Winston Red for him. Okay, so you can see the banter that goes on in the house, and now we're carrying the banter onto this computer, because it's important. It's important that people can see that you can have a lekker life. You know, I must tell you about this part now. This was many years ago. I was sober. I was about 25 years old, and this girl, it's actually quite sad, but it's not sad because it's over, it's done, it's under the bus, is that we were going to get married. I was 25 years old. I was about 1.5 years sober. And that morning, I don't know what happened, of the Friday morning, this is how God works. Huh? I was with a strange, unknown woman that you pay for in a hotel in Mowbray. And I'm a big believer in talk about what you've done there. And as I got out there, the pastor phoned me and said, "Anthony, your future wife doesn't want to marry you anymore." So I said, "Are you insane? Like, you know, the hooker's gone, she's paid for it, I've done nothing wrong. She is not going to marry you." So I said, "No, can I speak to her?" "No, she doesn't want to speak to you, etc., etc." And we had already booked the air tickets to Mauritius, excuse me, to a hotel where you went and got married at the hotel, or you went there as a newlywed. So obviously the wedding didn't take place. I didn't tell anyone that the wedding didn't take place. That day I drove past the church. It was packed with cars, but there was no wedding couple. So the next day we had to go on honeymoon. So my mom and dad said, please don't go, you're going to drink. But I went to Mauritius on honeymoon alone, and I went to this hotel, and I was the only single person in the hotel, so they must have thought, okay, this is a bit tarty. And and there at that hotel for a week, I never drank. And on the Wednesday, I'll never forget it, a Scottish couple came to me and they said, "Wow, Anthony, would you like to be our master of ceremonies at our wedding here tomorrow?" So I said, "Hey, I've just come off a bit of a heavy story on Saturday. 4 days later, you want me to be the master of ceremonies? What a pleasure." So I was their master of ceremonies, and they sent me a videotape, because those days it was videotape. And I flew back to South Africa, and I was sober. And my parents were surprised that their son had come back and he had been sober. I didn't need alcohol, because on the 28th of June 2005, I lost the desire for all that shit. I completely lost. God took it away from me. I didn't go to a rehab. I didn't plan to relapse. And for those who don't know, there was a black guy, I must say he's a black guy because it's politically correct, who was with us for 18 years, Marius, my best friend, ever. And he would have the joint rolled in the garage and the beer or the Smirnoff spin. And I would go from my mom's house into the garage. We'd have a drink together, and then we'd go to work. We had a little painting company. And that morning I went in there with no intention to stop. On the 28th of June, there was no intention to stop. And I went in there and I smoked a joint with Marius. I took a couple of drags, had the Smirnoff spin, because we had no beers, and I put it down, and there was about that much still left in the bottle. And us alcoholics, we eat the bottle. And I couldn't pick that bottle up again. I just could not pick the bottle up. And I turned around to Marius and I said, Marius, I'm done. And he said, I know, Anton. And I went into my mom. I said, Mom, I'm finished. I was weighing in at 48 kilos at that stage. You know, my stomach weighs 48 kilos now. And my mom said to me, again? And then I realized, hey, my parents are tired of words. Now it's action. And by God's grace, in just over 2 weeks' time, if God spares me, I'll celebrate 15 years of sobriety. God took away from me what he knew that was killing me. The devil had me in his camp. Hi, Gladwin. The devil had me in his camp, but he wasn't going to keep me there. And that's what Graeme said this evening. If you want recovery, you'll find it. If you don't want recovery, go play games. That's what it's come to. People say relapsing is part of recovery. I've never heard such nonsense in my entire life. People do relapse. Obviously, they do relapse. But don't make that part of your CV to say, well, I have relapsed. I have relapsed, so I can carry on now. That's not part of it. If it does happen, it happens, where it happens a lot, and then people get back on the road. But it shouldn't be on the prerequisite when you leave a rehab or you're at AA. Hey, let me go and relapse. Let me go and relapse because it's part of recovery. Don't talk shit to me, man. Never heard such crap in my life. And people get indoctrinated like this for 3 weeks at these top rehabs for 80,000 Rand a month. If I had to go pay 80,000 Rand at the top rehab, I'd rather go to Mauritius.
Didn't I say the same thing last night?
Kurt the Great. Yeah, are there any questions? Because here we're just talking shit to each other tonight. With love. With seriousness, but with a joking. With a bit of joking and a bit of banter in between. Because the guys sitting here, they're all holding dogs like you. You think they're in the Animal Welfare Society. But they only do it because Kurt's going around taking photographs. Everyone's holding dogs now, so wonder they can go show their chick they've got the puppy. But they haven't even got the plant yet. Alex, have you got the plant? I don't think Clutchy's got it. Yeah, so tomorrow, God willing, the guys went today to help at the animal shelter. It's quite a big construction for them. And the other guys went to the river for the day. And we went out. I took a drive with 3 other guys. We went through the Doorns and the pass and the back pass of the Hex River. And it's absolutely beautiful. I never did that when I was sober. When I was drunk. Because I wasn't interested. I was only interested when my next drink was going to come from. We missed a lot in our lives, us addicts. So what we get now is a blessing. Everything you get is a blessing. Person puts, from me being on the streets, and I know Graeme was on the streets and Kurt was a bit on the streets. Anything given, even if it is a piece of cake, is a blessing. Do you want me to ask Kurt? Okay, I'll ask. Okay, I don't normally ask these things, but I'm going to ask anyone who's on board here. We have got 10 dogs. So if anyone would like to help supply and donate dog food, we would really appreciate it. We're not asking for anything else because we're trying to save the dogs as well. So Kurt asked me to ask you because he said we're going through dog food like he used to go through heroin. And you can just imagine how much that was. And furthermore, tomorrow we have church. We have a pastor who comes to our Andrew. And that's very true, Alexandra. And Aline. Oh, thanks, Chantal. God bless you. I've heard a lot about you. Kurt speaks very highly of you. Yeah, because you gave us dog food last time, and thank you very much. And I've never met you, but I'm sure one day we will meet. And I can show you. I'm going to change. Can we change the screen around here so I can show you how some of our dogs, we have 5 or 6 dogs sleep inside, and then the other 3 sleep outside. So I'm going to change the screen, and you can see what it looks like in our house. Graeme the Great's going to do it. Okay. So here's Carl. We don't often invite people into our homes and show them stuff that is and there's Kurt.
How's it, everybody?
There's Kurt.
I'm keeping warm and staying safe.
There's our fireplace going.
I'm only safe when I'm here.
There's Sharka. And here's Puppy. And here's Taylor. Okay. And there's, we go across to Angus. Mom's carer.
Evening, everyone.
Good looking man, he's single.
Lekker.
And there's Gracie. Gracie the killer. They all got beautiful beds. Here's Lincoln, our animal man. He feeds the animals. And there's our new addition, Tyson. And here we've got Haley, who's been with us for a month.
2 months.
2 months already. She's a beaut. All our dogs are beautiful. And there's Graeme the Great.
And we've got 3 outside.
And we've got 3 outside. They sleep in with the guys outside. And that's this is the back of a house. And there's our elephant. I love elephants. And this is our. And I must take you to the leading dog. This is Tyson. And there is the beautiful prayer that we read. So this is how we live. And the other guys, they've gone to bed. We've had our meeting. And this is just the leadership plus Carl. Hello.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Nice to always see. I was busy watching. I don't know where I put my phone down now because it was more important to keep everybody else warm and keep the fire going. And that's what we should all be doing with our recovery, is adding wood and keeping the fire going of recovery. So please pass the message on that if I can recover, so can you. Just like all the other oaks there, Clutchy, Alex, Andrew, Garth, pass the message on that if you oaks can recover, so can other guys. And thanks all for watching. Thanks Chantal for offering us dog food, and thank you all, everybody else, for watching as well. And we ask again, can you share it so that somebody in need can hear the message and come right. Bye bye.
It's good. So this is how our dogs sleep. And we got a policy here that we don't. And this is our kitchen. Only men in this house. There they've had supper. It's spotless. This used to be the bedroom. When we first opened up RAEL, this was the first bedroom. And it's obviously over time had become a kitchen.
Who's stripping? You lost the what?
You see?
Check out on spotting.
Okay, so that's like a little insight into the lounge of the main house.
And then
Nothing to hide. And we take in, hey, hello. And we take in pride in everything we do. Everything has to be clean. Yeah, Vanessa, you knew, Tyson. Everything has to be clean because when we're drinking and drugging, who cares what we look like? Okay, thank you very much for an amazing night and coming into our home and see how we treat our dogs and see how we treat our people. And I think I'm going to close off in prayer tonight for those who want to close off with me. And we will see you again tomorrow night. Let us pray. Oh God, we thank you for another day. We thank you for another day, Lord, that us in sobriety can be sober, Lord, that we weren't tempted to do anything that would ruin our future or our lives. Ask you to bless us, Lord, and keep us safe. Bless our farm, bless our animals, Lord. Bless everyone on this screen tonight that is on this page that is watching, Lord. Bless moms and dads who have sons and daughters in recovery, that they may find recovery. But most of all, that you can put peace into the homes and the lives of the parents, Lord. Father, I ask you to protect the alcoholic, the addict, that are on the streets tonight, Lord, that are homeless tonight, that they may find some way that their lives will change drastically, Lord. I pray that we can find harmony in a world that is in chaos. I pray that we can find harmony in a country of South Africa that is in chaos. We pray for the people that are cold tonight, Lord, that have not eaten. Thy will be done, Lord. Thy will be done in all our affairs. Thank you for giving me and the leadership the opportunity, Lord, to do your servant work. We are the hands and the feet of you, Jesus Christ. No one else. Bless our land, bless our people. And thank you, Lord, that you look after my mother so well that I'm so blessed to have right next to me. We pray this in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.